there was no intercooler. I was only using a methanol kit. So I had the snow meth kit, and it was getting hot driving around California in 90-degree plus weather. So I did some research and I decided that the best way to make that go away was to put an intercooler on.
Right, right. It seems to be a lot better for you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so far I haven't seen inlet temperatures over 110 degrees. So, and now we've had a couple 93 degree days here, so.
Right, you guys get it hot over there. When you did that last tune, Ricky, was it Bob Kurgan that did that tune for you? A friend of yours?
Bob Kurgan tuned it first, and then I changed my combination with my injectors and all that, and at the time, I didn't understand my ECU and my Mega Squirt the way I do now, so I had questions, so I had actually a Chevy guy, Mark Romans, here in Sacramento, tune my car. And he's a good friend of mine. He kind of reached out. He knows ECUs. He kind of reached out to help me upgrade all my ECU stuff to make it run right and idle right. Ever since there, he sat down and was very patient with me and taught me a couple things about the ECU and about the Mega Squirt that made my life a whole lot easier for tuning it myself.
That's awesome. Jimmy asked, where are you reading the IATs, the ACT, and the lower intake? Or somewhere else?
You could use it off the lower intake, but it's going to give a false reading because the intake's usually going to get heat soaked. Bob Kurgan or pretty much Mark told me the same thing. They wanted me to tap about 6 inches before the throttle body, 6 to 8 inches before the throttle body, and you could run an ECU there and extend the wires to there. Therefore, it's getting a true temperature reading off of there. Just a lot of people don't want to do it because you have to weld or hack into your air tube, and a lot of people don't like it up there. But there's different ways of hiding it. I've seen on a Holy System X, you could plumb it to the bottom underneath the intake, the upper plenum. You could plumb it in there with an adapter. But then again, that gets heat soaked, but that's more of a truer reading than what you're getting off your lower intake.
Of course. I saw on one of your posts there was 2 ports in it looked like an intake elbow. Is that one of the ports?
Yes, that was for my methanol. I have a 2 650 nozzles, one that kicks on from 4 to 8 pounds of boost, and from 8 to up, the second one kicks on, so therefore it'll control my temperatures better.
Gotcha.
So if I just tip in it,
yeah.
So if I just tip in it, I'm not flooding it with methanol.
Gotcha. I hope that answers your question, Jimmy. All right, yeah, he gave us a thumbs up. I wanted to, back on, you were talking about the summer heat there. It's obviously super, super hot there. Do you find with everything you have set up with the supercharger and the fans and everything that you kind of found that happy medium where it operates cool for the most part? Because you guys have it hot there.
I would say it not operates cool, but it tolerates it. We'll say.
Yeah.
I mean, you learn how to limit where you go and what to do on certain days of the year. Like you could drive somewhere, but don't try to get in traffic. Too much traffic, because I mean, with horsepower and boost, the byproduct is heat, and there's nothing you can do to cool that down except for try to make the best what you can, either liquid or air to air or air to water. And if you could do multiple, then you should be trying to control it. But it's a game. It's a give and take game with the weather, I guess.
That's true. That's true. What fan setup do you have now? Because I think you previously had the Mishimoto setup, right?
I had the Mishimoto first, and once I started pushing up boost, it kind of went away. But I went with the Flexolite, the Ultra.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I don't know if you guys get that in there. It's an Ultra Slim Flexolite fan.
Yep.
In there.
Okay. That's nice.
It's
it right up.
12-inch, like twin 1500 CFM. So far, it seems to be good. It seems to work so far. Like I said, my car hasn't crested over 185 degrees in the coolant range.
Oh, good. That does a lot better than the Mishimoto's did for you.
Yes, they were getting 210.
Ah, gotcha. I saw that you were looking at doing push start. How are you making out with that?
So far, I did a lot of research on it, and the most I've found is like I don't want to hack my wiring.
Yep.
So I'm trying to find somebody who has a stock 5.0 steering column that I could grab the plug out of one of those, so I could just plug and play. So I don't have to. I don't like to molest harnesses, I guess you want to call it that way. I don't like. They're 30 years old. They're already brittle as they are, and the more you try to tap into them, the worse they get. So I want to find somebody who has a stock plug, and I could just pretty much get one of those and plug into it. That way, it's a plug and play. If there's ever a problem with it, then I could just go away. I could put it back to stock and don't have to worry about any damage. And
oh, dude, we gotta hear a video on that at some point.
oh, definitely. Once I get it up and running and correct, I've just been trying to get everything ready for the season this year. And like I said, this COVID thing came, and it took everybody for the loop. And between trying to have what job I did have left at the time and trying to work all the overtime we could to get all the products out at our company, that it kind of ended up being put on the back burner for a minute.
Yeah. I noticed, Ricky, there was a point, and I think it might have been like, I don't know, maybe a year ago, or maybe more. I could be wrong. But I was looking on your page that you were just like, it's game time. I'm like taking this to another level. And then you started to do like all this like awesome stuff to bring the car to where it is today. Like I saw you, you ended up getting the new motor. You even like smoothed out the whole engine bay. You got the heads. What sparked that that big change? Like you completely changed the car at one point. You're like, I'm doing this.
My wife just off camera said midlife crisis. So but no, to me, no, I mean, I got a what'd you say? Yeah, just kept spinning cranks and all that. So that's what I said. She told me to step up to the engine. But with the power wise and all that, I realized there was only so much coolness you can get by bolting stuff on, and to get it to the next level, you have to proceed farther than that. And I got a big cancer scare, and I ended up getting diagnosed with cancer, and I had kidney cancer, and they removed it, and I only knew I had it for a couple months, but it was a realization of that you're only here for so long, you might as well make the best of it. So that really sparked a lot of get it done, you only live once type of attitude. Let's make it the best I can.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, man. I can't believe you went through that, and I'm glad you're doing okay now.
Oh yeah, a lot better.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's like your car, and I saw on your page too. You won a lot of awards for it and things like that. I saw like a few of the shows that you went to. You're grabbing awards and stuff like that. What shows do you typically go to in your area? They're like popular ones.
There's my boy T Sideways Boogie. Him and Sac Speed Shop here in Sacramento. They like to put on a lot of shows at the Sac Raceway. They bring a lot of crowds. I mean, hundreds and thousands of people. Like last year, I think 50,000 people showed up at Sac Raceway for a for a Sac Speed Shop track takeover. And they bring a lot of people to these events, and it's just kind of showing how big the car community is in Sacramento and the surrounding areas, and how big people never seen it that big, and it just keeps growing. I like to take it to those, but I also like to step out of the norm and go to different shows. Like I like to go to the little mom and pop shows. I like to go to the big shows. I like to go to Good Guys. Has always been a good one for mine. I like to go to like I like to support everyone, because I mean, pretty much that's the way I was raised. Like you support people, they're going to support you, and that's how you spread the love. Let me test drive it. He was really cool. He was a salesman. He's like, man, I'm glad you got me. My boss was pissing me off. I was like, no, let's go have a break. And so he let me get on the freeway, and I kind of gave him a Jeff Gordon experience, and he just started laughing, and he's like, I've never been in a car getting on the freeway going sideways like that. I was like, you said I could drive it like I drive it. So I drove it, and he was like, man, he's like, thank you for giving me that experience. It made my day better. So I've driven them. It's just you don't get the same road feel as the Foxbody. It's not, I mean, my car, you have to drive the car. And the newer ones, it seems like it's driving you. You're just pointing it where it needs to go.
Yep. There's just so much technology in it. And yeah, you're right. You do actually feel, the Foxbody, and you actually are driving it, and they want to supercharge it. So they have a Mustang, and they're looking to supercharge it. Since you've had a Vortec and you had a Pro Charger, what would your be advice if they're shopping for a supercharger for their Mustang?
Be honest with yourself on what your goal is. Because if you say, I want to daily drive it, you can't daily drive 500 horsepower. You can, but on the pushrod engines, it's not the most safest or reliable of cars to do that with. Technology made it a lot better, but just be honest with yourself. If you want to make 600 horsepower, make 600 horsepower, but get bigger than you need so you're not maxing that blower out. I mean, you get what I'm saying? Anytime you max something out, you're going to stress it out, and it's going to not be efficient as it can be. So if you want to make 600 horsepower, don't go with an SC, don't go with an SI, go with a YSI, and always buy bigger. Therefore, you won't run out. You can always put a bigger pulley on. You can't put a smaller pulley on because it'll just lose traction. So go bigger than you think you're going to need. That would be my advice. And make sure you're fortified.
So basically leave room to grow into it, you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, you always want, because you don't want to, like I said, you don't want to start maxing blowers out. When you start maxing blowers out, you start losing traction on your belts. You start breaking stuff, your impeller speeds could go out the roof. And that's a lot to comprehend to some people, but you got to take all those into calculations. How fast your crank's spinning, how fast your blower is going to spin at that RPM, what your RPM window is going to be usable, what's your step-up ratio on your blower. So there's a lot of talk to somebody first before you pull a trigger, somebody who knows. That would be another thing of advice. Talk to 5 shops. Call 5 shops. Call guys who have who make good power on the internet. Most of the people who aren't jerks and will talk to you.
I really enjoy seeing the stuff that you put on your page, and I went back a little ways and just saw, a lot of the work that you did to it. So if you guys aren't already following Ricky, jump on his page. He's got some awesome stuff on there, and he's very helpful too. I know you help a lot of people out your ways.
I try. Yeah. Sometimes that's how you get the most love, is by sharing your knowledge. Because if that's the way I learned. If someone didn't tell me or answer my questions, then I would never know and have the knowledge I know now. So it's always better to know your roots, know where you came from, because that's the next person you may help could start the same thing that you started, that someone started for you, I guess.
That's true, man. I think we all been there. We've all been there,
Definitely.
And then Ryan said, your car is gorgeous. Keep pissing excellence. Awesome.
Whoa, that just happened.
But, yeah. He want to make it fly. So you want to make it fly. Spinning ain't winning. And 700 horsepower, and most people still run 12.5 on the track. And
yeah, well, I'm hoping to get better than 12.5s. Last time I ran, it was in the low 10s, so I'm hoping to get a little bit better than that next time.
Oh yeah, well, we'll be excited to hear that news, man. Well, hey man, that's all the questions I had, and I can't thank you enough for coming on, and I'd love to have you on again when I'm thinking about starting like a second series, which is, I've been brainstorming it a little bit, and I wanted to have everyone back on again to do something different, maybe when we're done with this Corona thing or whatnot. But it was truly a pleasure to actually meet you and get to talk about you and your ride, man.
Definitely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you taking the time out to at least let me talk. I know my wife's tired of me talking to her, so.
Well, yeah, man, like this is, I know a lot of people said it too. It's like, it's so awesome to get to meet you. And, you know, like I said yesterday, some of the people that we're doing the interviews with, we may not ever in our lifetimes be able to meet them in person, but this is next to best, you know, and to see your car the way that we did.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions or anything, hit me up, give me a call, shout me out on Instagram or whatever. I'll answer anything or try to answer anything that I can. If you're in Sacramento or the local area, you see me at a show, come by, see what's up. Let's talk about your car.
Rockin', man. Well, thanks again, my good friend Ricky. And I've got another guest coming on tomorrow. I'll announce who it is in the morning. And if you're bored too, Ricky, join us as well. And
For sure.
I thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. You have a good night.
Awesome. Bye, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.